No, intermittent fasting.
You can skip a meal, but don't skip the ad.
Hi, Jarrod from Jarrod Agency. Welcome to Don't Skip the Ad. Super excited to be here today. Welcome everyone, newbies, oldies, anyone listening to this podcast. Welcome. Look, there are many skippable ads out there, but my hosts, Jenhan and Ed Ong, we're here to talk about the unskippable ones. I think the industry needs to know who's behind all this amazing work. There isn't enough about these amazing people out there, and I hope this podcast will highlight them and all the amazing stuff that they do and all the unskippable stuff that they do. Anyway, let's get to it. Today our guest is Tak Shune, co-founder of Your Maker. He's a rebellious one but has always done it with a cause. We had a blast talking to him, and I hope you will have a blast listening to his stories too. So without further ado, this is Tak Shune on
Don't skip the ad.
Maybe you can tell us where you're from.
Where I'm from, as in like my career journey, is it?
Up to you, or where you from, which kampung you grew up.
Wow, the one easy lah. I was born and bred in Seremban. Spent 12 years there, and then I moved to Subang. So I forever rap the 47,500.
I find that Subang people are extremely proud of the postcode. Like Jarrod is very proud of the postcode as well.
Hey, gotta make Abang Joe happy, bro.
Yeah. My speculation is you guys are stuck in a jam so long, all you see is the street sign. So I have to memorize the number.
So only 2.5 years in Subang, in Seremban, and then you
12 years.
12 years.
And then you scooted off to Subang.
Scooted out of Subang, so everybody died there. And,
What?
Moved in, So I was living with I was raised by an Indian woman, and then my grandparents lah, and then moved here. I moved to Subang with my parents. And that's where I went to school, and came from boys' school, co-ed. That was hell.
So primary school, boys' school, secondary school, co-ed.
Co-ed.
Oh,
Actually,
man.
that was teruk.
Why Teruk, bro?
Teruk
I mean,
was-
got girls, bro.
Yeah, got girls, but I was also like the smallest fella there, literally. So,
Yeah, I can understand that it's different. I mean, because I'm 12 years boys' school. So when you go to college and suddenly there's like it's co-ed and like oh my god, what
you
do
don't
I
know how to
do?
deal.
But okay. But honestly, right, I came from boys' school, then went to co-ed also. You know what's the difference? You know what I found odd? Boys are the same in boys' school and co-ed. Like if they see chicks, if they see chicks co-ed, like okay, boys' school, you see chicks come, or whatever, they, right?
Yeah.
But in co-ed school, same, bro. They see chicks from other schools, same thing. It's
No,
like,
definitely other schools we semangat. Our school one not so much.
like whatever lah.
Menu sama kan.
I thought boys are more behaved in co-ed school. Looks like I'm mistaken.
So do you have siblings?
I do. I have a brother. Yeah. But it's not in advertising.
So what does he do?
Last I checked, he was doing something with recruitment on it.
I see. And your parents, if you don't mind us asking, what they
so
what
they're
do
not
you do?
close.
Okay.
They're not close. So I don't think at this time they're working or anything.
So the time, okay, so it's a very interesting journey, Seremban, then to 47500 Subang, right?
USJ doesn't count.
Yeah.
So
Years is a step.
No.
It's just
They're not-
stepping stone.
They're not a part of Subang. Sorry.
So then, like primary school, boys' school, then into co-ed school. Like so much changes in like the formative years, the early years. Do you think any of this contributed to like a different way of seeing the world, or different way of like seeing things, or for you at the time it was like that's just how it is?
Yeah, I think that's just pretty much how it was like. You live in that cocoon and nothing much was happening. But looking back, that was really the best time. Like you didn't have to sweat too many details.
Yeah.
You just did what you wanted to do, catch spider, like just very basic, very simple. I do look forward to things like that nowadays.
So this was Seremban lah. Catching spider was Seremban.
No, I mean I'm sure people in Selangor also catch spider. Maybe spider be different. Kan?
Actually, yeah. I mean,
Different spiders.
I grew up in Happy Garden. I catch ladybird lah. not so cool, but I did catch
But
ladybirds.
Happy Garden is different kind of
Your,
bird also
your
there,
fingers
bro.
smell different lah. For sure, your fingers smell different.
So, Shune, do tell us how you got into this industry, man. Like,
Okay, so I really sucked in school lah. Like I wasn't a good student. I didn't skip too many classes or anything, but I wasn't great lah academically, but language was the one thing that I was kind of okay with. And growing up, I had an aunt who was a teacher, English teacher, so I think that contributed to quite a bit of why I'm still a writer, and then I figured when I came back, my parents were like, you can't count, you can't do all these things. So why not give advertising a shot?
Oh, so they recommended you?
They can recommend it because, they say like, we can't really see how you're going to do anything else like.
So advertising was like the last resort. Okay, try this.
Yeah, try this. And then at the time I had an uncle, Alex Lim is actually my uncle. So he was an ad guy, and then he was like, oh, look at this guy. So he botak kan, like.
That's where all the bald guys.
Yeah, all the bald guys come from.
Hey,
Cool
speak
bald
for
guys.
you too, man.
I've had.
Yeah, so then he said, it makes sense for Alex to do it, so maybe you should try it. And so that story is also interesting. So when I came back after studying, which I really realized now that you don't need to study to become an ad person.
Are we going to keep this in the edit?
Well, you can study. You can study.
Yeah,
You should study.
I
You should
did lah,
study, yeah.
but it really it was. You don't take too many things from there lah.
Yeah.
Looking back. So then I came back, and Alex was like, hit me up, maybe there's a gig for you at LB. So I was so sure. I brought my book, sat down there. I saw Yasmin pass by. Semangat lah, right?
Do you know who Yasmin was? Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
So how old how old were you then?
Yeah.
I was 21.
So this was and Yasmin was already shooting films. Or?
Yeah. She was Yasmin already.
All right.
She was Yasmin already. So I saw her come out of her room, walking to a meeting room, and then she took a glance. I was like, oh fuck, this is it lah, right?
Yeah. What year was this?
I came back 2001, I think.
Where you went?
I went to Auckland and then to study. I went to ACT lah. So Lim Kowing is complete empty. I don't fuck with Lim Kowing people.
I don't think Yasmin has shot any films yet. 201.
No,
201?
not yet.
Not yet. I don't think so. It was later.
But it was legendary enough for me to like recognize
She
her.
did commercials already lah.
Yeah, she did commercials already. So I knew about her already. And then I sat down there, and then Alex looked at my book, and
Your uncle Alex,
my
your
uncle
uncle,
Alex
yeah.
looked at my, and then he closed the book and said, "You want to be a suit,
Oh, nothing wrong with suits.
Yeah.
Okay, I think some things has to be explained for the listeners,
Yep.
because even I'm new to this industry. I don't know what a book is.
Yep.
Right, and what I hear is back in the days, books are very different, and that's what sells you, right? So
Ed, you want to chip in on what a book is?
A book is a portfolio of sorts. It's how you show your chops as a creative person, as a writer, a director, a designer, or whichever you're applying for. Yeah.
right, so you compile like it's your own work, right?
Yeah, you show different types of styles. Maybe you show work that you did for different industries or different target audience.
If you have like never worked, if you've never worked before, then you wouldn't have a book.
You give, uncle ask you be suit lah.
Yeah.
yeah. So at the time, no disrespect to suits at all.
Yeah, of course,
But
of
I wasn't. I knew even at that point, I'm not a suit lah.
Yeah.
So it's like I really, I was not like extroverted. I can't talk to people properly and all that. So I was like no, this is really not gonna be a thing. So,
Actually, it happened to me the same thing.
Yeah.
Small agency.
Yeah.
So I went to meet this ECD from a big agency who saw my book,
yeah.
and when he saw my book, I was so excited. Like, I got an interview with
Someone's
this big
looking
agency.
through
Yeah,
your
someone's
book.
through my book.
Yeah.
So I had I started my career first few years in a small agency, and then I met this person. So I was like, yeah. And this person looked at my book, same. He closed the book. He said, "You belong in the studio." I'm like, yeah, studio!
Studio means what studio?
Studio means FA lah. Do FA work lah.
With the
with-
hoodie and
then play Chinese song.
Yeah,
and
play
this
Chinese
one,
songs. Yeah. Yes.
Long story short. Anyway, sorry, back to you.
No. So yeah, and after that it was like gila trauma lah at the time. So I told myself, you'll never make it. In a
So do you
4
take
years.
the suit
No,
job?
hell no, cannot. No. I didn't.
It was a writer or nothing.
Yeah. I really wanted to start as a writer or nothing, and then I joined only local agencies, so small outfits where I was the only writer.
Was there a reason or because trauma? Oh, big agency.
Trauma. It's like fully trauma, and like I was really like it just like what at that point it was like I told myself, you will never make it lah. There's no way, what? The people said that you're going to be a suit. You should be a suit.
I mean, what happened to nepotism, man? You know, I mean, this is
Exactly
bad,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
I feel
Someone-
sorry for you.
Yeah. So forever blame Alex.
I mean, like, to be fair, Uncle Alex already gave an interview, you know,
Yeah.
courtesy to the parents.
Yeah,
So,
correct. So
fulfilled.
he
Job fulfilled.
fulfilled lah.
Job
He
fulfilled.
took 50 minutes out of his day.
Well, it must
to
be
speak to
like,
me.
I can't imagine your feeling like working in, when you join a smaller outfit, you're the only creative or the only writer there, and you write every day feeling like, this is like, I'm bad at this.
No. I mean, small all you don't have to feel bad lah.
Right, so you didn't carry that burden with
No,
you.
not really. But it was challenging lah sometimes because being the only writer, and then sometimes you got to work with colleagues who like mostly art fellas, right?
Yep.
Worst fellas lah, art fellas. And then you give them copy, and then they'll just cut it in half.
All right.
You know, they
Without
start-
reading, they'll just
without
cut it.
no need. Yeah, it's like no space already. Yeah, ma. Then I'm like, check
You
out
just
lah, right?
Change font size, please change
Yeah,
font size.
yeah.
That's
not
why we
change-
delegate them to the studio.
yeah, now that's why I send them to the studio. So then you know, but you learn a lot. You learn a lot in
Small setup.
small setups. Yeah, it's a
So
different.
were you
time.
the only writer there at the setup?
Yeah. So I started out in Fixed Go Advertising. So I interned there.
That's in Subang.
That's in Subang. So literally across from my house.
Right.
So I
Should've
walked from
gone there
17
in the
to
first
19 to go to Fixed Go. And then my boss at the time, Alan Tan, the fellow one name, someone Alan Tan.
One name.
One name.
As in, like, there's no
One name,
space.
No space.
Wow.
He was an art guy, didn't care about kerning. so yeah, he and his boys, hey, Tak Shune, you want to work? So he came back.
Right.
Alan Tan interned there, and then I came back. I spoke to Alex. That killed me. And then after that, he said, maybe try again, lah. You know.
Yeah.
So at the time, there were two other writers came in. He fired me after 2.5 months because I think he wanted to use that to bangkitkan the other two guys. You know.
Right. So you were the
yeah.
sacrificial lamb.
Yeah. At the time, of course, the role, lah, right.
So in those 2 months, like, I'm just curious, like, did you do any like work that you thought,
Of course, because you come in, you got nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
So the job for any young creative until today, lah, I still adhere to this, is they're supposed to fuck up,
Yeah.
right? And they fuck up, but it's their leaders, their mentors who are going to help steer them, make sure that works great.
That's great, bro. That's actually I think in today's day and age, I realize the juniors are so afraid to fuck up.
Yeah.
So afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So afraid. I mean, we at Chariot, not name dropping, but we always say, hey, fuck up lah. What's the worst gonna happen?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fire you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just
You learn
make the
something.
mistakes lah. You
You're right.
learn from there lah.
You're right. You're supposed to, you know. There should be a healthy appetite for failure. At all times. Even now. I mean, there's a lot more at stake now, obviously. We run our own outfits and all that, but we still have to have that bit more gila, bit more naive, you know, try to be stupid.
Yeah.
I think in any generation, right? I mean, when it comes to creative work, you just have to throw the shit out there first, and then maybe the good stuff will come. Like, you just have
Absolutely.
to not be ashamed of, like,
Throw shit on the wall, see what sticks,
yeah,
that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So what was the piece of work that you thought was like, that's it? Do you remember?
I wrote something. I mean, I did some work for Eon at the time. The
So
guy
that
who
this
sell-
is in that 2 months.
Yeah. So I did some work. Nothing spectacular, but I wrote some ads for motor oil. I still remember. And then I can't show them now because I don't have them. But it was interesting lah because you know they come from background of providing military. I mean like oil for military. So I did in that style. And
Okay.
That time everything was like. We don't do the stuff we do now. It was like somebody there to draw it and scan it out.
You had a visualizer. for you,
Yeah. So the rest of the OGs were there, and then they were doing like pretty straightforward stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's do this war stuff and all
Yeah.
that. And then the OGs were like, what the hell are you doing? Like that's not. You could brief but for me it's like
What was the brief?
the brief was just to sell the oil motor oil that's good for your car. But I was saying like this oil should be good enough for back in the day to help people win the war. So it should be good for you now.
Yeah, if it's good enough to win.
That's an idea lah.
Good enough to win.
Yeah.
angle,
And then
yeah.
the OGs were like
Mana boleh?
oh really? Yeah, mana boleh kan? Like
Perang.
But I had OGs were backing me as well lah. You know. At the time it was this guy called Jeffrey. Until today, very grateful. So Jeffrey was the one who said, "Never mind, I help you." So you have to have an art partner.
Yeah.
Was that his voice? Nama.
No, yeah, a bit like didn't really get through puberty.
Did you ever show this to your uncle Alex?
No. So we are never gonna show any other work to Uncle Alex, man. That's the crazy part. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Uncle Alex would be proud.
So
if-
you made that piece of it went out. It went out like the
No,
the
it didn't go out. Like that was presented to the client and all
Right.
that lah. You know.
Wait, it actually went out the door.
It went out the door. It went out the door.
But it didn't.
Yeah, it
see
didn't.
print.
Yeah, correct.
So after that, you became a sacrificial lamb to.
Yeah. This is my perspective lah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
that's
Of course,
what
of course.
I believe it was that what was happening. And then, yeah, after that it was just local agency after local agency. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I you know one thing I noticed is like this is the first time we're meeting, right? And I've seen your work and did some research before. The humor is always present.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's always present. And hearing your backstory, your origin story, I'm not surprised. Like, introverted from boys' school, I think that's a perfect recipe for like a humorous person. You know?
I don't know. I mean, if you're telling me that, I don't know how somebody's going to receive that.
Yeah.
But seeing it as
different
humor.
type of
As in like, I'm just not I'm not surprised. You know,
Yeah,
like,
because
it existed.
in boys' school we bodoh lah.
Yeah.
I still want to maintain that though. That's
Humor is a currency,
Yeah.
you know, and like for me.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, but the humor has always been there, like even in like your in recent work, right?
Yep. So even in your recent work, My Town, the Deepawali,
Right.
Yeah, a
Hip
very
hop.
unskippable Deepavali ad. Like,
Nama ada.
in a world of like
Yeah.
a lot of festive films,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I think when you did that music video, there were. Okay, it's not humorous lah. That piece was not humorous.
No, that one was not
That one
humorous.
was
There
pop
were
culture.
humorous bits.
There were humorous bits in
of
there.
Pieces of work that are humorous.
Okay, maybe I'm phrasing it wrongly. Not so much humorous, but like it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
Like it's open. Like all of the work felt like it was open to human experience, or like it came from that.
I think that's the common trait lah.
Yeah.
A lot of your work don't take itself too seriously, and there's a human connection.
I think that's key lah. You know, the objective should always be like proper, resonant, proper connection lah. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, and it has to have a. I mean, yes, it's for Deepavali, right? We're talking about Nama Ala.
Maybe you want to share a bit about that piece of work lah. I mean,
Nama Ala.
just for the
So
audience.
the brief was very interesting. The client came to us. I won't have to say the race of this client lah, because you will show in the brief lah, right? So the brief, they say, hey, we want to have this, or go to Mama, say, hey Mama, teh tarik satu, and very like cliche, stereotypical things in the video. And
this was for Deepawali.
this is about Deepavali. Okay. So the Indians will love that, right? Indians will love that because that's all they are, right? Supposedly. And then we took that and said, we let's not do that, because that is just really degrading lah. I feel like that's all. It cannot be pigeonholed to just being that lah. At time bobblehead, whatever, right? You cannot do that. So we said, why don't you take this approach of every time or everybody who appreciates something about Indian culture, whether it's food or fashion or dance, music,
Yeah.
you're part of them. They are minority, ma.
Yep.
But we used to get me matcha. When people call matcha, you get that license, right?
Yep.
You get that matcha card. It's like, that's great.
Yeah.
So Nama Ala stemmed from that. It came from that. thought.
pride.
Yeah. So Nama Ala means our people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like they embracing us as satu lah.
Yeah.
So that was the bigger thing. It's not just a Deepavali piece where it's
Yeah.
like all Tamil and all
I
that.
think it's very awesome that a Deepavali ad, it's not like, hey world, see how the Indians celebrate.
Yeah.
But this is like
How we celebrate. Yeah.
You put them as the front and center, going like,
Betul.
we welcome all of you world.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very, very nice angle.
And we try to at least incorporate that in quite like other pieces as well lah.
I thought that particular piece was quite fresh in terms of art direction.
Yo,
The
shout out
music.
to Jawa. He directed the piece. Hadi was behind the thing. Roshan, obviously. Huge kudos to him. And the crew, I mean, this will sound a bit like trying to be woke all lah, but the crew also like 70% were machas lah. So I think that contributed to the detailing
Yeah.
of the work.
Yep.
I think
Is
that
it
is-
easy to sell in to client all this? did the
They were like,
presentation go?
okay, we're gonna give you your banana leaf and all that. But we're gonna nicely package it in a way that the stuff that you you see today lah, the work that went out. So yeah, I think like they bought into it. We gave them what they required or what they expected in the piece, but always give them more lah. Always give them that. Yeah, so I think that was so well received. I'm especially proud because that song, I've heard it at weddings, in clubs.
Wow.
I mean, obviously I guess the browner clubs lah, your exclusive clubs all. But still, I mean, I'm very much so.
Cool. When your work becomes part of like the real world's culture.
Yeah.
I
That's
think we
really nice.
always strive for that.
That's what keeps us going.
Creatives, as creatives, we always strive.
Yeah, you want you want to break through that part lah. Yes, it's selling stuff. At the end of the day, that we all salesmen, but got that one chance to step over and like get into culture and all. That's always great lah.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Which kind of reminds me of that one campaign you guys did way back when about, I think something to do with Indians and advertising.
Yeah, so I think so
You want to
this one was
share with everybody what it was first?
Yeah,
and
thanks
then,
for bringing it up, man. Like so, this was with Vijay Anand lah. Forever gonna be. Or rather CJ lah, Creative Juice at the time. So Vijay had just become my boss at the time, and then obviously I got my Indian partner already, right? And trying to be Indian so badly. So I was talking to Vijay, and then he said like, "Okay, let's just do something for Deepavali where we ask people why you don't advertise to Indian people, because hardly ever your audience breakdown will always be 70 Malay, then 30% Chinese, whatever. No Indians."
Yeah.
And then we say like, why don't we get advertisers and brands to push stuff to Indians? And that's how we came up with Tambi lah. So Tambi is tolonglah advertise to Malaysian-born Indians.
Right.
Also, it's an acronym.
Yeah. It was an
I
acronym.
remember that.
Advertise
Yeah.
to Malaysian-born
Yeah,
Indians.
that was-
Tambi, right?
Tambi. And then we use your friend
Kevin J.
Kevin J. So he was helming the thing, and he was going out there and telling people like, just manipulate us also lah. We also deserve to have our money spent. You tell us to tell people us into buying your shit, right? So
That's a very funny angle.
yeah, and then the whole purpose was to get people to submit ads or ideas, And I think what was very telling at the time was like people could send us ads like the Petronas piece, Party, right?
Yep.
Christy Herman's famous piece, but nobody could really give us new work, and that I think has stuck with me quite a bit. That's why until today I pay personal attention to somehow doing, I guess, work for Deepavali lah, or rather the
Indian community.
segment, Indian community lah.
Do you
Not
think
like I owe them anything. Or
Is it
okay,
because-
maybe I was raised by
yeah,
Indian
is it
women,
because of
but
your childhood,
Could
right?
be. But I like to think it's because it's always like low representation, and I don't really.
So it's not
appreciate
because
that.
they are a minority group.
I think it's that, and also there's so much to do. There's so much more to
mine and
to
find,
mine
yeah.
and to work with that
I
community.
think every culture is very rich lah. It's just that
Confirm,
maybe
confirm.
we haven't explored as much of the
Betul.
Indian culture as we should have.
And it shouldn't be like every other commercial is still a fella lighting kolam and all that. You can't. Come on, man. Like surely it's more than that.
Yeah, and
surely it's more than that.
I think it is very telling because you did the piece for My Town, right? And then you make a Deepavali film for a KPJ hospital, right? A hospital.
Yeah.
And the angle was just mind blowing to
Yeah.
me. It's so unlike any other Deepavali film.
No, and the best part is they weren't selling anything
hospital related. Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. You have to link it back, ma.
Yep.
So
Okay.
what we gave them in Komala, you're talking about Komala Eskers,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Do you wanna kind of
tell-
give like just a summary or plot of the story?
Yeah, so Komala is this woman, I think is present in all our lives, whether you're Indian or not, is that horrible relative or this OG, less old person who's always like mengumpat, always had something to say, something bad to say about you, never wants to see you succeed, never wants to see you thrive. And so she because of her evil ways, during the festival lights some more, it's very colorful, vibrant. She loses her color, right?
Like literally loses a
Literally
color.
lose her color. So there was a roto nightmare for the people at Reservoir lah, who shooting it. Thanks, Hadi. I mean, there was a huge from you and your team. But so that happened to her, and then she rushes to KPJ. Thinking that it's something that it could be fixed lah. So that's how we link back to the hospital.
Nice. Okay.
But this is the one thing the hospital cannot fix.
Yeah.
Because then the doctor comes out and says like, this one you got to fix yourself, right? That was the funny bit, I guess. But I think the deeper meaning was that just don't be an asshole lah. Right?
Yeah.
That's really, I think, and the fact that it's prevalent in all cultures, all ethnic groups or whatever.
Yeah.
But you weren't able to get that "don't be an a-hole" line in the commercial.
No. I wrote it. Trying to be nicer lah. Be nicer lah.
It was. I think it was such a difficult thing to balance, which she did so well because, like, she's really mean. She's really, really mean.
Yeah.
But like, it was also funny and like it was. It didn't make the didn't make me feel like, oh man, like why is lady so mean? Because it was funny. As well.
It felt relatable.
Yeah.
I can accept that lady's behavior lah.
You're right, Jarrod. So like, even in the comments, they were like, people from other races, hey, my mother-in-law is like this. But it got a lot like my mother-in-law is like this. So it's like, wow. I guess that's the thing. Like, you find Malaysianness in things, right?
Yeah.
So it's like common threads. Again, always about common threads, but also making it about them, like celebrating them first by using that as a platform to stretch it across.
Actually, what I like is like you every year there's some new work for the hospital. And
well, not anymore because we stopped working with them on films. But
no, but at that time, this is a very brave hospital to do.
They were the
new
first
work.
lah, really. Because
Which then I saw the Chinese New Year piece.
Yeah.
Right? Was it before?
For the
after?
hospital?
Yeah.
there was Chinese New Year.
The cancer. The cancer.
Oh, the cancer one. Yeah, that was hospital. That was interesting because simple thought. Nobody wants to talk about anything taboo.
Yeah.
During Chinese New Year, we know that.
That one is true. That one, I mean, in Chinese family, it's very true. It's like I have a friend who basically someone in her family had like met an accident, lost an entire leg. Okay, and people just refuse to acknowledge.
Get out lah.
As in, like
Really?
during like basically
Dinner.
just don't talk about it. Just like if we don't talk, I mean, we
that's
know
like
it's real.
So let's pretend you don't have an extra leg, lah.
Yeah,
Right?
we know it's real, but like it's just like let's not address not address the hurt, in a sense, or let's not address the real thing, right?
Yeah. I hope her surname wasn't Lim lah. So like, but yeah, I think.
Bro, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Thanks. Hey, at least you lion my.
I wanted to end it. I wanted to put it like I said, better shut my mouth. Anyway, back to uninvited. Maybe you wanna just
So that one again, really heavy subject, right? They definitely have a great oncology department and all that. So we figured like we could possibly tell a story, but put a really positive spin to it lah. This speaking about cancer and all that, and like that whole thought of having cancer latch on to her, and so that visual, I guess, depiction or what, that was interesting because we worked it out with tankers at the time, and they convinced us that that would be a quite cool way to show it lah. Because we were thinking like how would we look? Like could it look ridiculous because it's a emo story, right?
Yeah.
Like you put something that can look comical lah, right?
So the
for our listeners, we will link the work into our IG
Social
and,
Insta, yeah.
and everything lah.
Yeah.
So the idea of like dealing with cancer came from you, but the idea of the tumor or like the cancer latching on, that came from.
That was something we worked on. We knew that cancer had to be there.
Yeah.
But in what form?
You didn't know how to
the brief from
personify
the
it lah.
client? Did the client say they want
So
to
the brief
highlight-
was pretty loose. I just come up with a like a positive ad lah.
Didn't highlight any
Positive
Positive
New Year ad.
No, up until then we tried to be a bit more cheerier with our stuff.
Yeah.
It's CNY. So
CNY, yeah. Why?
Let's do something about
so
cancer.
then we were like, okay, maybe we it can be emo, but also uplifting lah at the end, right? So
And true for the brand for the.
Betul. So yeah, I think it was a tricky thing to tell, but hopefully that one. I think the way people resonate is because, like you said, like they don't talk about it and stuff, and
They're very pantang.
very pantang. But also like there's a lot of strength to be gained from just watching something where you. I mean, I think now also society has been like, we're a bit more open with our stuff and we try to break down like not to say we don't want to adhere to values, but must have tahap lah. You know, you gotta be able to talk about things.
I think it was like built on a very real cultural insight, you know, like for Chinese families.
Yeah, and probably Asian families again,
Yeah,
like
true,
Malaysian
true,
families
true.
again. Like you, if you walk into say like Hari Raya or what, you see a guy with one less leg.
Yeah.
You probably won't want to bring it up with him as well, right?
His name might be Alim.
Where do you start when you start thinking about ideas? Do you start thinking about what I shouldn't say or what's the worst
you
thing
know what?
could say?
I think that's probably one of the first places I start lah. What I shouldn't say, and how I would
How I can
tackle
say
it.
it.
How I can say it. Yeah, there's that stubbornness to that lah. You know, being So if you tell me, or at least I tell myself like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. Lagi I want to do. That's the yeah.
So does this go back to the first few points we were talking about, where don't be afraid to fail? Do you think it stems from there?
That also you always have to have a healthy amount of fear when you put a piece of work out lah.
Of course.
Because you have to have a
I think it's one thing to come up with a mad idea. After that, you have to sell it. That's the difficult part.
selling
you
is
got to convince client that this
99%,
is
man.
the
Yeah,
one.
it's convincing them and
Do you have a secret to selling, or how? Like, you know, for our up and coming guys up there who wanna try to sell ballsy stuff. you know?
I think you don't
So you said ballsy or baldy?
Ballsy.
ballsy
Clarify
stuff.
lah. Just correct.
I think just don't worry about too much about your presentation, punya personal style and stuff like that. If you have enough conviction behind the piece, that will come through. And yeah, just be as factual as you can be, but put also a lot of like feeling behind it, lah. You know, you gotta convince yourself first before you convince them.
I think it's interesting you say that because we tend to judge creative work subjectively, but the results is always measured objectively.
Betul.
But if you present creative work factual, as you said, and then it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to judge my results objectively,
Yeah.
how can the preceding work be judged subjectively?
Betul. So I think you gotta have like facts and figures at the ready lah. You know, you like best practices, whatnot. And you know, you gotta always ask about their KPIs but at the end of the day, again, no one piece of work, whether it's a post or a film, anything at all lah, it does run the risk of failing. Like that's the
nature of
that's the nature of
any-
everything that you put out. Yeah.
So do you present options or just this is it?
For that particular piece, I think I can't remember the options, man. But
Usually.
yeah. I think we have trying to give something that's a bit more palatable, I guess.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you have
You
something
have the
that's
safe option.
or even the safe one. We try to inject a bit more, like, because I always feel like with work, yes, it's for the client, but it's also you're also part of it, ma. So your agency's signature or whatever you wanna inject into it has to come forth. It has to come out. Yeah.
Is this something that you have like a mantra you have at like your maker?
Yeah.
You know, is it something you teach everyone at your
Yeah,
maker?
I think it's an agency style. You have to
Yeah.
kind of develop that as you go. And right now, I mean, I guess.
I guess you guys know what you want to do and know
Yeah.
roughly the kind of work you don't want to do.
Yeah, we know what we want to do.
Yeah.
So
you know,
it's consciously you develop this kind of work.
obvious.
right?
Yeah, for sure, Like you cannot go in doing cookie cutter, doing like, if somebody tells you I want exactly that, I'll be like, no, I that's not.
Say the no again. Say the no.
No. Like I've had.
That's a very polite.
I've had clients who we present to. Luckily, we don't work with those are potential clients at the time. And then they said, "Oh, but we want this. Like, why can't you just give us this?" And then we were like, if you wanted that, then you go to anybody else lah. Because
Yeah.
you got churners out there lah. You know who want to take. that
We've
business.
had similar experiences. You know, like
Definitely.
it always happens.
Yeah.
Okay, tough question.
Yeah.
Because you go in with like conviction and you're clearly you have a rebellious spirit to like, you know, I want to find something that truly means something. You got to feel it first.
Yeah.
Have you gone into a meeting and pitched this with your whole heart and then they go, I don't understand.
Wait, confirm. we are in a business really of rejection lah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
our everyday, you know. So you really have to not take. You mean you take hits to the chin, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, you condition yourself that way, but some days it's just not easy also, you
Yeah.
know, because you hear so many no's, right? But that's just the nature of the thing.
And how do you cope with it? How do you any advice in the younger days in
I
you know,
think, yeah.
and like you said, like we're in the business of rejection. Like
Yeah, so you really have to steel yourself to understand that everybody is going to approach it from a different standpoint.
Yeah.
Like you think that those are the objectives going in, but it's because you know this person has different. I don't know, set of beliefs or they woke up on the wrong side of bed
Yeah,
so there's
yeah.
so many other factors that come into
so many
play.
variables that
So many variables
yeah,
that come
yeah,
into
yeah.
play leading up to that one meeting.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
may
you got-
not be the work actually.
may not
right?
be the work somewhere, and even worse if it's like online presentation, they don't want to on their camera. You know, like there's so many.
Oh
hate
no.
that, man.
Yeah, I
So
hate
many
it. I
things.
hate it.
I find that's my biggest pet peeve, right? It's like no disrespect. It's like coming to
No respect.
no respect. It's coming to meetings like that. No.
Okay, and Jarrod's like hiding his entire head in his shirt like a
Yeah.
turtle.
Yeah, but again, so there's no other way to tell you guys how to navigate through this, but you just have to find ways to push through. And you understanding that if someone says no to your idea, no matter how gempak you thought the idea was, it can always be better. Man.
I think that's the nature of the creative industry lah. If we think we are highly paid, we are highly paid because we are paid to take no every day.
Yeah,
The moment you stop taking no, that's when your value drop.
yeah. And at the end of the day, also really, yes, our job is to take to be told no and stuff, but our job actually not that bad lah. I mean,
Yeah.
come on lah. Like we are paid to come up with not like sometimes very nonsensical things, you know, and then we manage to sell that. Yeah, man, I'm getting paid to.
Nonsensical things that
Yeah,
get played in clubs,
yeah,
that get played in the radio.
Yeah. So you take it. I mean the bad with the good lah, and I think if you want to tally it up also, it seems like some days like there's a lot more bad, but I believe there's a lot more good lah, you know. So you just have to. And again lah, it's not like we're doing like freaking saving lives or what. Yeah, we're not.
Speaking of that, can you tell us how you came up with that name, Your Maker?
There's a long story and short story. So the one that if I just met you first time and then I know it's just small talk.
Okay.
It's really you just want to bless people with unboring work lah.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Wow.
Simple.
Hey.
Simple. But the deeper one, I'm not
Okay,
religious.
I'm willing to go on a second date now. So what's the long version?
So the long version, this one I'm Chinese, so I cannot give you anything that's too long. But yeah, so Your Maker is I quote the very influenced by like the Christian God lah. Okay, let's just say the Christian God. So that guy, he happened to sometimes look at the things that he creates. Tak guna sabar man.
Yep.
Like a platypus, for instance, or like small people, or whatever, right? Like it's just crazy. But everything has a reason for being. So we went with that. That Your Maker punya spirit is like everything you put out has to have a deeper meaning lah.
Yep.
A reason for
A
existence.
reason for existing lah. You know, whether or not people understand it at the time, but. It really has to come through lah every single time. It has to be understood somehow. Yeah.
So it's like some days you make commercials that are like lions, some days your commercials
Yeah,
are like
one they're
platypus.
not. Yeah, like platypus.
Okay,
Yeah.
kangaroos.
Yeah, so it's and it's he also sometimes he
Capital H.
capital H. He also creates stuff with like almost like no again like almost no reason on that one.
Yep.
But somehow there will always be, right? Again, for someone who's not religious, that's how I ran into it.
Wait, you are not religious?
No. Not at, not at all. I mean, I grew up with an aunt who was Christian lah.
Yep.
Was this
that was
the English teacher aunt or
Yes,
another?
the
Okay.
English teacher. So, but it wasn't how you say, that wasn't really like why we decided to go with this Your Maker thing. So when we signed our SSM, also we went to the building to
Explain.
Not explain. Apa ni, to start our company name.
Yep.
They thought it was Your Marker.
No, we didn't. That's our name on the
yeah,
door,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No office, but name on the door. Our company name is Make Believe Services. Because it's something you concoct. That's what we do, right? We imagine things. We
And
bring
that
them to
name
life.
Jalan, make believe.
Make Believe Jalan.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to go with your maker, you know.
Right. Okay. Because I had to go into SSM once to explain. As a comedian, I got to start a company so that I can get paid. My company name was Yellow Gringo, and they made me come in to explain what is this.
How did they ask you? Like, how did they like an interview? They set you down or what?
Kind of. It was like over emails at first, and then they said, "Can you please come in?"
How to explain with email?
Yeah, so it was tough, but like.
By lepas, right?
Of course, hey man, like I can write stuff too. I'm like, yellow is a color, symbolizes like this.
Man, I'm trying.
How did you explain gringo?
Outsider. So always feel like outsider. So you work harder. You're the underdog. You're here to fit in.
Right. Okay. Macam tu jalan.
Of course.
The heart must be good,
Yeah. So your value add was a language lesson, lah.
yeah.
Okay.
I know you have a one kid, right?
Yeah, one son. Yeah.
He's 5 now.
He's 6 now. He turned 6 not too long ago. Yeah.
Okay. Do you how do you bring your spirit of advertising and what we do and what we learn home in raising him up?
I have shown him a few ads. I mean, he told me he enjoyed them, lah. I don't know whether it's because he just wanted to ampu, but yeah, I mean, he's seen some stuff. Stuff like, say, for IPC we had the tikus one, and the animal stuff. So he likes stuff like that, lah.
Could you explain to our audience what was the tikus and animal stuff?
That one was it was the year of the rat, right? So the client wanted to obviously latch onto that, lah, but we cannot show a rat, lah. So we used the prairie dog to take its place.
I see.
So this prairie dog was So you have to link it back to the mall and how to say so the family died. He was like lived in a house with Chinese people, and that's how he learned how to speak Cantonese. It's just really a really crazy imagine piece, and I love the video on that, lah. It's just old uncle, lah. So his name is Jack Chow, lah, because he watches a lot of like Takao type of films. Right? So eventually Jack Chow,
I get it. Jack Chow is like,
Jack Chow,
let's fight.
and then so eventually he does visit the mall somehow, and then there's a happy ending in the all, lah. So
it's a very like fantasy. It's kind of fantasy.
No, it was all live action. Yeah. So the client just said no rats.
Right. So
that's why we like
the prairie dog.
Yeah, prairie dog. So in the beginning we showed the rat, but then he said, okay, because I cannot. I need someone more handsome, so we put a prairie dog. So we replaced, and at the very end also we replaced, because in the house where we rented to shoot it, that one we can have rat, lah.
Yep.
Right, but not at the mall, ma. So that's our workaround.
I understand.
I think this is the kind of like briefs, right, that like really just is so fun to work on, because it's like, okay, guys, it's Year of the Rat. Please do something about Year of the Rat, but you don't show the rat.
No, we pitched it. Then the client like, I like it, but we cannot have vermin issues, lah, because there was a mall at the time. Somebody saw some at a bakery, no less. Some tikus.
How did you settle on prairie dogs? We
I think somebody
prairie dogs here. We don't have here, right?
No, they're not indigenous to Malaysia, but they are very docile.
Yeah,
they're very docile. So rats are crazy, lah. We had that rat on set. The fellow was mad. So
rats and shopping mall and death. What could go wrong, man?
Yeah. Bring in the next wave of Black Death, right? Plague. But yeah, I mean,
no, but how did you think that prairie dogs were a good replacement?
I think somebody pitched that thought, like, say, I've got some prairie dogs, they're pretty okay, they don't go crazy, so that was how landed on that, man.
A lot of the stuff, a lot of the unskippable ads we've talked about, it very film based. Like, it's something that you personally enjoy more of.
No, so for a long time, because of all the KPJ work and all that stuff, we happen to do a lot of film-based stuff. And that has led to us being recognized as people come to us, hey, show us your reel and stuff. Like, as in, like, they thought we are a production house, no?
Okay.
And we are not, like, we can do films, but we also do like campaign work and stuff, right? But it just so happens that film just happens to be quite
The non-skippable
like a
ones
calling
lah.
card lah, kira. Like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, calling card.
So what's your latest campaign work that you've done?
I don't know about we put out like literally yesterday. We put out
The Deepavali one?
Deepavali one, the Nanda one.
Alright.
So again,
here we
again,
go.
Here we go, another
So again,
piece.
so that's the paling latest one lah.
But when you say that, it's just film only, or you develop a sort of
Oh, so
360 work?
Yeah, no. So this particular film was for us. So whenever we have an idea that's a bit too much, we feel for clients or what, we do for ourselves lah, because we will forever remain our most important brand.
Yeah, that's
Agree.
nice. Yeah.
Jumping on that, that's what I realized, right? I mean, now that we are doing our own thing,
Yeah.
a lot of agencies tend to forget, or a lot of creatives also tend to forget to market themselves or
Yeah.
advertise themselves,
Yeah.
you know?
It starts with that, right? So you get to, develop your voice, even for the people, so that's always a chance, ma. You have
Yep.
that platform already.
True.
Why not use it?
True.
Do as crazy as zany or as so high as the work and the stuff that's lingering in your head, just let it out lah.
Yeah.
Do it for us lah, because we got nothing.
I mean, it's true. We often forget our own brand.
And you want to develop like a personality or like a character, right? This is the best way to do it.
Yeah, I remember that Chinese New Year ad you did with Clifford, with Pangong. That was...
the fuck you, ma. Yeah.
But now I'm very curious, like you calling, like film's always been a calling card, but you clearly like other things out there, right? What would you say are like your top two?
Two best campaigns.
Or like
Favorite,
something that may not have been done by you, but like something you wish your maker could
have
Pull them
done.
off. Yeah.
Not necessarily Malaysian, right?
Definitely not. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
anything in the world.
I've never really thought about that at all.
Is there any that comes like just on top of mind, like something?
Guinness Surfer,
Or,
Man,
or
Apple, 1984.
Or like really like even the classics.
It doesn't have to be. It could be something.
Oh wow! You see,
Oh.
you heard that slight dig, you like the classics. Is it?
Yeah. I mean, these are
Yeah.
I think
I still watch them.
I
They're
think
still
more of
great,
like,
man.
because if I think what to Jenhan's question, like,
Yeah.
if it's not films,
Right.
what kind of maybe small business Saturday, that kind of work, or what kind of like
Big idea. One big idea.
yeah.
Campaign.
I mean, if don't have, it's okay lah.
Yeah.
We will just edit
maybe
this
you can
part
come
out.
back to side because I blank my mind. I'm drawing blank right now.
Or the latest one that you watched, you thought, oh, that's cool.
Latest one that I've watched.
I like the Sweden is not Switzerland.
I think I chanced upon that.
Yeah.
It's okay, man, because I think like in the industry,
It does sound like I don't look at any other
no,
work.
no, it's fine.
It's true.
You know, because like I've noticed there are people who are like really like ad nerds. They watch everything, right? And there are
Yeah.
people who like they don't consume, but they can still create wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
It's not a must, but I think it is important to recognize that like your work that we do here, even in small little Malaysia, right, can be recognized.
Oh, for
elsewhere,
sure.
you know?
Sure. I mean, it's not that I do look at work, but that's more in terms of like, potentially how that could be a very cool way to craft it. I would approach it that way.
Okay, maybe not advertising. Then
Yeah.
what about films? What films or movies? or
Yeah, what's your
series?
inspiration? Because like you it seems like you watch Hong Kong films and like you have a lot of Indian influences.
So like definitely a lot of Stephen Chow stuff. Like really, like especially like stuff like Kung Fu Hustle and all that. Like really out there.
They're finally remaking Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah,
Are they? Kung Fu Hustle 2.
Oh.
And
I
almost
hope so,
like
man.
it was always like rule breaking stuff lah.
Yeah.
I would or like say in terms of craft, I love stuff like Baby Driver. Or like Scott Pilgrim, stuff like that. You know, like
Very it sounds like okay. They're all the things you name. Stephen Chow's comedy, Baby Driver, Scott Pilgrim. They're all very choreographed, but made to look like it's so natural. Right?
so natural. Yeah. So I think
Seamless lah.
they're
Yeah.
seamless, but
So much thought behind it.
So much thought behind it.
Yeah.
So there's okay, Scott Pilgrim maybe not lah. Baby Driver even it was so musically driven, brilliant piece of film. But Stephen Chow, man, like sometimes you watch a film and you don't even know what was the point of the thing.
Yeah.
But for the sake of being silly, Sometimes it's
Entertaining.
It's
I think entertaining.
it's a Stephen Chow trademark, you know,
Yeah.
and again, it's a style and that stick to itness from start to finish. I think that is something that we try to do with the work. So every time you see it, also you get like, oh yeah, I know that there's a style there, you know.
Man, I think that's what draws me to like your maker's work, because like I now that you mentioned Stephen Chow, I feel like the stickiness, like stick to itness, like I remember because one of my films that I cannot forget is Stephen Chow's From Beijing with Love. It was a James Bond spoof, right? But that was his directorial debut. So every decision is Stephen Chow's decision.
Right.
And you see like what he tries to do to bring up the comedy, because he is very not subtle, but because he's directing, there are very subtle things he does that also makes it funnier.
Betul.
Yeah, so I think I see it. Now I make the connection.
Yeah. And of course you gotta always like try to evolve that thing lah.
Yeah.
So now especially I think it's important that while it's a your maker thing, it cannot be stagnant also. You know, I try to get my guys to I'm trying to take more of a step back in terms of what kind of ideas I want to put out there, get them to, you know, push theirs more, because you don't want to have a
House style.
house style.
Yeah.
You know, I think the house style should be dependent on the people who are within it.
Yeah.
You know, so they have their own things that people say, oh, it has to be not like, oh, they're only like so shun lah. It shouldn't be that. It should be, oh, that's like Diban or Mini. Like, you know, like everybody is contributing. So you have versatility lah, you know.
Yep.
How would you say your work or your ideas have improved from since Fix Go till now? Your thinking.
I mean,
Uncle Alex.
Uncle Alex.
Uncle Alex.
Don't put it on Alex. Now Alex is the one who didn't employ me. The Alan Tan lah. If Alan Tan to impress him, I think it's such a different time now, man. Like last time you only had what, print ads and radio and what. So it was quite simple, you know. I still remember like, and even then, quite a lot of work to do, but you know,
Brochures.
brochures.
But how has your thinking? How's your work approach evolved?
Oh, I mean, that time, you know, I was only thinking like a writer, meaning I just like how to say it best. But now it's more of like, how would the person I want to speak to say it? It's a different approach, right? It's like you have to put on like a seriously different hat. Not you cannot be yourself already. It's almost like acting lah a bit. So I don't write like last time you write must be proper one. Like the way I speak also now I write like gila. Like I don't know why I'm writing sometimes also. You write it and then you like look at it. What the hell did I just say? You know, like Bahasa WeChat or whatever. You know, you do what's necessary.
I
you know?
mean that happens lah.
You're selling an idea, not just like a proper, not just a grammatically correct sentence.
It cannot be. So it is betul or correct according to the audience lah. It shouldn't be correct according to you. You don't hold that right to say what's correct for them. You only like can put out like the best way to communicate to them.
Yeah, you know, you are such you have such a rebellious spirit. You're very courageous, no fear of failing. Like basically, yet you're very clear as to what you want. Has there been
it's
like
47500?
Yeah, it's
all
the
right,
Subang.
okay, it's the subang, it's the subang in you, man. It's the subang in you. So being with the subang in you in your entire journey, what would you say is like a worst experience? Have you ever encountered something that was like that came near to shattering this subangness in you?
Oh no, no, not even close to shattering the subangness. I think when you start to open your mind again, kind of going back to what he was saying. Like last time I was thinking more like a writer, but then I remember it was Rosie Hong lah. So I worked with Rosie back at rap, and then she was like, "You cannot be a writer first. You got to be a creative." I never saw that. I was like, yeah, that's true. Writing is really a craft.
Execution.
Execution. But you cannot behave like that. You cannot think like that. You cannot just think like writer. It's very
Narrow.
very narrow. Yeah, super narrow. So yeah, but okay. Now so back to that question about something
Worst
that-
experience.
Worst experience.
In this career from
I until today I still remember this guy. I was working at BMBC. It's a BMBC local agency, and it was for knife cooking oil. That was supposed to be in Reader's Digest. Simple. Like, a picture. Pre-net. Yeah. So mother, feeding the child,
Reader's Digest is A5, right?
entahlah that
A small
kecil
size,
lah,
right?
yeah,
A4
yeah.
lah.
Half A4. A5 lah.
You can Marty's pocket you put one lah. So and then this dude, I wrote like 10 or 15 different versions. No, every time he said no, you don't want to take
The client.
the client, and then we sat there and then we just trying to understand what the hell did this guy want, right?
Yeah.
Then he was very smug about it. He said like, so I don't know what I want, but I'll know when I see it. I want to reach across the table and cekik.
I've had that comment a few times also. Sometimes
Yeah.
eternally.
Introduce him to his maker.
yeah. So this until like that was then lah. So I knew at the time. So you cannot behave like that. Whether you're whatever lah, creative suit or, and especially a client, you cannot behave that way. And it just irks me to no end when I hear this. And I still hear it today, but I have better control,
Yeah.
and patience, and no God obviously because I'm not religious.
Yeah.
But not more zen lah.
So
Yeah.
when your creative team shows you something you don't like, what do you tell them?
I don't say that lah. I mean, I always come up with scoring something like at least, you know. Try to give a reason lah. You cannot like be the person that you
Except
hate,
for
lah.
the beginning, ending, and middle, everything works.
Yeah, exactly.
The people in your company, like the younger ones, are they very eager to come to you with like, what about
Ideas,
this? What
yeah,
about
yeah.
this?
Depending on the deadline, I guess. So whether they eager or not. Some, I'm the one who's eager. Hey, where's the stuff? And then they sometimes got no choice, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you say young, they're really young, lah. Like my partner also. I mean, I'm just the co-founder of Your Maker. You know, I'm not the main guy. So he's like a proper 10 years younger. So everybody are like embryos, right? I'm 43 now, right? So it's but it's interesting. You try and it keeps you from getting too jaded lah.
Yeah, and
of
it
course.
really energizes. I'm not as old, but like when I talk to like people, like for me, it'll be like in their even their early 20s, it's so energizing.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
their the passion or the hunger.
Yeah,
We were
bit more
just
foolish, you know.
talking to one of the guys, and he's like, "Come, let me show you my Roblox account." And we were like, "Okay."
Yeah,
Uncles are learning about Roblox, and this guy's 21.
No, you asked him to show.
No.
the blog.
We were just sharing.
Oh, he just came up to you and wanted to show.
We were asking, so what do you guys do? You know, the young ones are trying to get interested
okay.
in what they do and what they like.
yeah.
And
How old is this guy? He played
He's 21. So the interesting thing is like we used to assume like the Minecraft players, the Roblox players are
like,
kids, right?
Okay lah, yeah.
But
6 years old,
they are now not kids anymore.
they're in the working world
Yeah,
now.
they've grown up.
I
It's just
mean,
one guy only, right?
No, actually,
Yeah.
no. He's 21. Roblox has been around for
A
quite
few
some
years,
time.
yeah.
Minecraft even longer.
Yeah, so they are all now in the working force. What we're trying to say is, it keeps things fresh.
My kid used to play Minecraft, but he's grown out of it now already.
Yeah,
think that's
but,
something
but,
like-
but
Yeah.
The account's still alive.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
you know, like, but the people who we used to assume are only kids, they've grown up. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And they come with like new ways of seeing things or like new ways of understanding things. I met I was doing a show. The usher, she was 15, right? And she told me that her teachers accept science class accept submissions in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they would
Yeah.
build like the digestive tract in Minecraft in great detail
That's cekap lah.
and submit it, and that would
that is
count.
smart as
that would
hell.
count.
Yeah.
So that's
is cool as hell.
very cool.
Yeah. So which to us to us at least to Jenhan and I, we to your point of talking to the consumer in their way, I think with the young ones in our agency or around us now, I think it's very important for old timers.
It starts here. It
Yeah.
starts with us, right?
Yeah.
It starts in our agency, is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know how to talk to them. You can't begin to talk to people who are out there, I guess.
Yeah, at least with this podcast, we are hoping to like expedite this process. Hopefully the younger ones who are interested in the industry.
Hopefully, man. Like, I mean, it's forever going to be a fun thing, lah. And now, I guess, if you want to talk about how you're very replaceable with AI and whatever, you still have to feed that shit.
You can't replace the Subang, man. You can't replace the
you can't replace the
4750.
Gila. Yeah,
can't.
you can't. Yeah, you still need somebody to. That's just a tool, lah, I guess. You know. And sometimes the people you work with are tools also, but hopefully not too many, lah. You know, that's the dream.
This has been very extremely insightful, at least for me. You know, as someone who's also new, maybe we can wrap this up. a non-advertising fun question that we like to ask. If you could have dinner with anyone, anyone, alive or dead,
Right.
whether they are from the industry or not from the industry, who would it be and why?
I thought about, obviously these were like pre-fed questions really, right?
Hey, it's no, that's not true.
No, we don't.
Yeah. These are all completely all on the fly. All on the fly.
Off the cuff.
All off the cuff, on the fly. I was looking at the list of people I wanted to mention, but really at the risk of sounding emo, it's definitely my family lah.
Your family?
Yeah. I think my kid and my wife, because nowadays having my own outfit having your maker, it allows me to do a lot more stuff, and I realized that parenting and just spending time with them is really the biggest thing, like So while the work is fun, I enjoy the stuff that takes me away from it.
Yeah,
I think that's very important.
I think it helps. It
helps,
when you take yourself away from it.
Yeah,
That's where
a lot of the stuff comes from anyway.
Yeah.
It lends itself to each other.
What did you say again? Like, I like the work is fun, but I like the stuff that takes me away from it.
You need not. I'm not about to tell you like all this is about championing work-life balance and all that. So while maybe want to being semangat about kids and bringing them to the force, want to let them play Roblox or whatever. If they come and say like, how are you gonna deal with me and my work-life balance? I would just say, if your balance is not going to be how you're going to come out with great work, because great work, you got to put in your 10,000 plus hours, right?
Yeah.
If you're not going to do that, then there's no balance.
Balance will never come.
Never come, because it's just going to be bad, man.
Yeah.
But I think like there has to be the balance that you set up for yourself. Like, it's never going to be easy. But you have to have a healthy amount of taking yourself away from things and giving yourself that headspace,
That's awesome. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I cannot wait to see more work from your maker.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Absolutely love the stuff.
I've not seen the one you released yesterday, but by the time this podcast comes out,
hopefully you
would have
guys
seen
check it out. Yeah, this is a Deepavali piece about
I did see it was on your IG page.
Yeah, about
You
the crabs and all that.
uploaded it,
Yeah, so it's funny. I mean, the Indian crab story is one.
Okay. No more spoilers for me. No more spoilers.
Yeah.
I'll check it out and to our listeners. So you would have seen it by now, right?
Anyway, thank you, Shun, for your time.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
And hope you don't. And hope you make more ads that don't skip. People don't skip.
Yeah,
that's
more
good.
unskippable ads, and like hopefully please everybody, like your maker does more than films.
Yeah.
Way more than
Please.
films.
You can ask for my reel, but it won't. I'm not. I can direct lah. I can try.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
I
thank you
think
so
more
much.
importantly, do work more that your parents will definitely be proud of.
Yeah. I think that's the hope and dream.
Yeah, this has been very nice. This is Don't Skip the Ad. So thank you so much, Shun.
Thanks, man.
Don't skip the ad.
And that's Tak Shune, everybody. Truly a joy talking to him. I had a blast. I hope you did too. Do check out our social pages, Instagram and TikTok for the next episode of
Don't skip the ad.